Hello there. The Epping Bell Hotel, oh dear, court case. I'm so angry about this. The Epping Hotel court case is now underway, and our own government is in court right now arguing that the rights of asylum seekers outweigh the rights of the people of this country. If they win this case, the anti-British ramifications are immense. What do you think, Richard?
Absolutely, Jeff. I'm absolutely fuming. I mean, basically, it's an admission by the Home Office via their lawyers, I believe. This is how I'm reading it. It says here, the relevant public interests in play are not equal. This is from the government's lawyers. This is according to the Daily Telegraph, by the way. Epping's planning rights are acknowledged, but asylum seekers' rights under Article 3 ECHR are declared superior and non-derogable. I am sorry, Jeff, I'm just fuming. I mean,
there you go. I'll just read it out for you.
Yeah.
Epping's interest in enforcement. This is what the lawyers are saying. On the government side, this is your government telling us this. Epping's interest in enforcement of planning control is important and in the public interest. But, however, the Home Secretary's statutory duty is a manifestation of the United Kingdom's obligations under Article 3 of the European Convention of Human Rights, which establishes non-derogable fundamental human rights. So the people of Epping have fewer rights than those of the people sat in those hotels. And that's the whole point of this. And I will just tell you what non-derogable actually means. Non-derogable rights are fundamental human rights that cannot be suspended, removed, or infringed upon, even in times of public emergency, war, or other crisis. This means even if the government says we are having an asylum seeker or illegal immigration emergency or crisis, those rights remain. Once they're here, they have those superior rights. And that's what should worry everybody.
This is absolutely scary, Jeff. I mean, the government has effectively just said that the rights of asylum seekers outweigh the rights of the locals, the local communities. Planning law, local democracy, community safety are all placed second to this. We're not talking about something. This is not like a rumor or commentary. It was actually said in court today, Jeff. Providing that is that the Daily Telegraph is reporting accurately. Otherwise, nothing happened. Nothing happened. But I'm afraid it does look like it did happen. I mean, the message is sure. It's not just the people of Epping. It's to the people of Britain. And that is to say your protests don't count. The powers of the councils don't count. Your democratic right to protest. Yes, I suppose just to protest and never mind your vote. That doesn't count. And all your rights come second because Whitehall decides everything and you have to live with it. And that's it. That's all that's been said. Jeff, I'm sorry. We're both too angry today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. The whole point here is the government is arguing in court that you have fewer rights. The human rights apply less to you than it does to other people. That's what they're saying. So the ECHR, and it's all non-derogable. We cannot, even in an emergency, stop those rights actually being there. That's what the government's saying. Do you know what the only way out of that is? To leave the European Convention on Human Rights. But that would take years, even if Labour had the political will to do it, which they do not have. We are stuck with this until we get rid of this government. And even after that, it will take a long time to get out of the ECHR in a way that makes sense. We have been stitched up right and proper. And the government seems determined to destroy our will to live through constantly ignoring us. constantly ignoring the people who pay for them in order to play the champagne socialist virtue signallers across the globe, all to impose their global communist ideals on us. Do you know something? The people of the UK are becoming the strangers in their own land. We, the people, the voters, the taxpayers, the ones who foot the bill. We're the ones who are expected to just bow down and fork out the dosh. I, for one, have had enough. You have to remember, those lawyers are arguing the government's position on your rights as a citizen within the UK. You have fewer rights than the newcomers have.
Yeah.
There is no equality in human rights. Zero. No. Zilch. It's gone. The government has laid its stall out. I don't think people quite understand maybe where this might be going. It means we cannot defend ourselves against this ongoing inrush of people, because the people who want to come in, their rights now actually outweigh yours. So they have to come in, because their rights are sacrosanct, aren't they? It will mean that these newcomers will feel entitled to make any demand they see fit. What message does this send around the world other than the UK has a stupid government, a stupid open doors policy, and is begging to be used as a doormat? Now, what's worse is it will effectively be the court ordering the UK government by the back door to use more hotels. If their rights are more important than ours, then all hotels will have to be used and filled up. And the more come, the more hotels must be used. I don't care what the government says. The government, if they can't house these people in, houses and flats because there aren't enough, then they will have to use hotels, because the courts have told them, the courts are telling them, if this goes through, I will stress this is only an argument put forward by the government. No decision has yet been made. But if this goes through, there'll be more hotels being used, because basically the government will be under duress to use hotels. Because if they don't use a hotel and try to put someone into substandard accommodation, their rights are more important than ours. So they have to go into hotels. And some lefty lawyer will make that so within days, within minutes, within seconds of anything happening like that. It will also put the newcomers at the head of every single housing list in the land, because they would de facto have priority over any needs the people of this country have. And once again, I stress, this is the argument the government is making right now in court. So it's not a done deal. I'm hoping that the court will see sense over this. But if they don't, the ramifications for the rest of us are immense. And as Richard said, it will be used to block protests. The asylum seekers' rights to a quiet life will be used to block any protest or online criticism, because their rights outweigh yours. Their right to be here outweighs your right to protest against them. So yes, say goodbye to the freedom of speech on the matter of asylum seekers and probably wider immigration. Do you know something? If this goes through, if the courts accept that argument, anyone who wants to could now open an asylum hostel with no planning permission. And this is arrogantly stupid. And the government would suck them all up, wouldn't it? It would just use, you come forward, change your house into an HMO and rent it out to the government. I cannot believe where we're going with this, that a government of the UK would actually come forward and say that people must be downtrodden. That's your future under international law, which they love, don't they? God. If people aren't angry about this, anyway,
Jeff,
Richard, please fill in the gaps.
There's a bit more to this. From what I'm seeing, if I'm reading this correctly, the government lawyers have effectively argued that the arrests of asylum seekers that took place around the Bell Hotel, that that's not enough of a reason to close the hotel or any other hotel. It doesn't matter effectively what they get up to. That's just by the by, okay? It doesn't matter. The government still says, no, you have to have them. It doesn't matter what they do to your... I'm not going to say too much, got to be careful. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what crimes they do. Maybe they have or they haven't. I mean, let's face it, we have to be careful here, Jeff. Nothing has been, these people are not guilty or haven't been found guilty, I believe, yet in front of a court of law yet, have they? So in that case, we have to be careful. We can't go into too much detail there. But regardless of any potential, I should say, it doesn't matter what the potential of what these asylum seekers have done. That's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have to have these people. Even serious allegations are treated as irrelevant to the legal duty that has to be fulfilled here, according to government lawyers, really. Local affair, I mean, has been effective, in the Epping area, has effectively been just brushed aside, because of a small number of incidents, apparently. And, the government is also saying that the council has only acted because of protests. That's what it's saying as well, and it's like that's highly likely. I mean, the councillors themselves who live in that area may have been pushing prior to this. In fact, I think they were pushing prior to this. I'm not exactly sure on that one. To have they had serious concerns about the usage of the hotel, but the public's voice now is being downgraded. Now we're facing like a downgrading by the authorities. That's what they want, to the point where we are just the nuisance. That's all we are, is a nuisance voice to their plans, how they want Britain to look. I mean, as you said, if this happens, Jeff, if they do overrule this especially on this basis, I fear for what the knock-on effect will be. It's like Reform have said that they will be making sure that every migrant hotel in there, where there's a Reform council, that they will be fighting it and trying to get it shut down. If they can't do that, then that's... Nigel, what are your options now as well? You can think that you can use the law, but what if the Home Office gets this? I'm sorry, I know I'm repeating myself, but this is terrifying, Jeff. This is absolutely... The ramifications of this are terrifying. That's it. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. I think... I'm not going to say what I think will happen next. And I don't want it to happen next.
No, it is absolutely terrifying. And one of the things that I have talked about before, despite what who was it? Someone says that John Francis, Jeff never mentions UN Migration Compact and all the rest of it. I have mentioned them before, very recently, especially the UN Migration Compact. Now, the UN Migration Compact is non-binding. However, the UK government seems to be absolutely running it to the letter of as if it was law. The UN Migration Compact insists that people must be able to freely move around the world, and when they get somewhere, to a new state, they must be helped to make their new life there. Does that sound familiar? I talked about this the other day. Does it sound familiar about what's going on right now? So the whole thing is that, and the state has to pay for it, the new state has to pay for them when they get here, and all the rest of it. And it exists, but it's not binding. At the moment, it's not binding. But there is an international law concept along the lines of, when people have walked the same path for hundreds of years, it becomes a public right of way. When countries, as a group or as a single whatever, do things regularly in the same way, it actually does morph into a sort of law, a right, like a right of way. So I think we're going down that route. I really do. So we have to be very, very careful.
Couldn't give two flying Fs about international law and the law outside of the United Kingdom. Who cares? This is the United Kingdom. Can we just never mind the ECHR? What about every other body out there that we're into? Everyone's like, oh, international law. We can't break international law. And I can see the argument. I'm not stupid. Okay. It's how you hold together a cohesive, not society, but grouping of nations, and trying to keep things smooth in terms of not going to war with each other, basically. But what happens when international law steps outside that sort of remit of holding nations together in diplomacy? What happens when it starts to step outside of that, and when it becomes a massive control mechanism? I'm sorry, that's when we say, okay, time to retract. It is time to move away from these supranational bodies, supranational courts, effectively, and it's now time to make our own laws and F everything else. And literally, our judges now will have to fall in line as well. We have to. Something's got to change, and it's got to change soon. Britain is ready to pop. It's ready to go. I know. Yeah. Go on, Jeff.
All I'm talking about is as it stands. As it stands, this is the situation. And if we don't change the government, then it will continue to get worse. Now, we all know that when we joined the EU, we gold-plated every single law they came out with and made it 10 times worse than it really was. And that's half the reason we left it, basically, because our civil service ran around trying to make it more involved than it really was. So what's going to happen with any judgment that comes out along these lines? It will be used in the same way they have this right to a family life thing. Right to a family life based on, oh, my kid doesn't want to eat chicken nuggets unless they come from a British restaurant, so you can't send us abroad. It's that sort of thing that will be done. That's the sort of thing that will happen if that ruling goes through. Now, it's going through, I think it's the High Court at the moment, is it? The High Court? Or it could go all the way to the Supreme Court, this one, if people have got deep enough pockets in the council to do it, because that's another issue. But at the end of the day, if it goes through, then yes, we are facing, I don't know, national destruction, that sort of thing. That's where it seems to be headed. And as someone here says, Finn, if the government win, can they legally take our houses to house illegals? Well, asylum seekers. What rights will... If the asylum seeker has more rights than we have, and we can't derogate from them, what rights does that mean they do have? The government has to house them in a family house, a big one. Does that mean compulsory purchases of people's houses who haven't got big houses, who've got big houses, but there's only 2 of them that live in it? Where will this end? Where will this end?
We've been saying that for quite a while. Sorry, just looking here in the Times, and it says that just the headline is Bell Hotel Epping migrant allegations do not justify closure. The Home Office appealing against a ruling to remove asylum seekers from the Bell Hotel has insisted accusations against the men don't warrant the injunction. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, I will say thanks. Just say thanks to John C. here. Greetings, fellow Baldies, rule Britannia. Yeah, thanks very much.
Absolutely, thank you.
But this is just unbelievable, isn't it? You know, people have worries. I mean, and we know already, and we talked about this the other day, didn't we? That we know that they're even housing arsonists in these places because they want them to up their insurance cover to cover and have special furniture. Now, I'm sorry, is that not a danger, having one of these things in a built-up area suddenly going up? You know, what's going on? Are we going to have to... We need more firemen, don't we? Fire persons, fire personnel.
Yeah.
more engines.
Bit more detail here, Jeff. Also in the Times, ministers fear the injunction, if it was to be upheld, will fuel violent protests and challenges by other councils. Well, it will. Yes, there will be more challenges by the councils. So do what the British people want and empty the bloody hotels and do what needs to be done. Do what you were elected to do to represent the British people. I mean, the Home Office, I'll just repeat this, said criminal allegations, yes, I know they're just allegations of criminal wrongdoing against 3 asylum seekers at the Bell Hotel does not justify its closure. No!
Yeah. And what gets me is that they'll become, sort of training grounds, won't they? And all the rest of it. And if one or two or three people in those hotels do something nasty, there's nothing you can do about it. They might get sent to prison. And when they come out, they stay here anyway. I mean, this is just a total and utter self-destructive way to run a country. Totally self-destructive. Yeah. Join Advance UK. Yes, join Advance UK.
Well said, Rosemary.
We need to get this sorted out. And the only way you're going to do that is by joining Advance UK and putting the pressure on all the other parties to actually do something. And once Ben Habibi's got his ducks in a row and we have enough people to stand in elections, then that'll be brilliant. But at the moment, we're relying on Nigel Farage and Reform UK, and I still have very serious doubts about some of what he said, especially when he's now talking about not deporting women and children and stuff like that. If you don't do that, then you can't deport their menfolk under the right to family life and all that sort of thing. We should be telling them, if you want to keep your family together, you go together, and you go, and that's it. I'm sorry, but we're setting up a huge fail for ourselves, aren't we? Really? And do you think those people are, who we've tried to deport and who've failed, do you think they'll love us for it?
No, incidentally, Tommy released a brilliant video last night, Tommy Robinson, about why he's joined Advance UK, why he's joined Advance UK, and it was fantastic. It was absolutely superb, and I think we should all take a look at that video. It's very, very good, and it says the truth of why Tommy's joined, because there's people involved in Advance UK that he trusts, and Jeff, you and I know a few of the people who are working behind the scenes in Advance UK, and you can trust them. They are good, decent people. I mean, you can't say the same for Reform at the moment, I'm sorry to say. I have to always do the same caveat. If there's an election tomorrow, I'm voting Reform. Advance isn't ready, okay? We need to be mature about this. In fact, I will vote how I bloody well want to. I will even consider tactical voting for a party I don't want, as long as it unseats somebody of a political party who I'm utterly opposed to. For instance, like Labour, or if Corbyn's party was to come in. We need to start thinking, because and being as clever as some of the people on the left are. Okay, they tactically vote. They will do it. It doesn't get you the party that you want in. But what if you're living in a constituency where the person you want in doesn't stand a chance of getting in? But you might be able to upset the apple cart when it comes to Labour. There are things like that we need to talk about. We've always avoided that sort of subject. And to be honest with you, I've been quite against tactical voting previously. I've always said vote for what you believe in. But if there isn't a hope in hell of getting somebody in who's half decent, and the only thing that's looming over you is another Labour MP or Lib Dem MP or Green MP, you've got to start thinking out of the box on how to unseat them. That's the truth of the matter. We have to start thinking and stop being so tribalistic. There is only one tribe we should be a part of, as far as I'm concerned, other than being Christian, and that's to be uniting the kingdom. This is our tribe. We are one tribe. Doesn't matter what colour your skin is. It doesn't matter what your creed is. That's utterly irrelevant. We are the United Kingdom, and we are coming together, and we're not going to split apart again. We owe this to our children, Jeff, and to our grandchildren. Yeah. We have to do this, all of us.
Right. I found the Tommy Robinson video that says, let me make it abundantly clear why I joined Advance UK and why I think you should too. What I'll try and do right now is, if you just keep talking for a minute, Richard, I'll just get this.
Just a second, Jeff. I got a bit of a sneeze going on here. Just a second.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'm just downloading that video. I'm hoping to be able to insert it into the chat as we video file. I think it's this one you're on about.
Yeah.
Video
just a second.
about Advance UK. Make a few things clear. I want to let people know why I joined, but also to make it clear, it's not my party. Okay. I'm not running it. I don't want to be involved in party politics, if I'm honest. I'm just a member amongst tens of thousands of others. Why did I join? I joined because of everything I saw with Ben Habib. Everything he says is exactly what this country needs. He stands for the United Kingdom, for British values, for British people, and he won't bend the knee to the establishment. He knows what a border is, and he knows what freedom means, and he knows what a woman is. And I joined because I know several other people at the heart of Advance UK. People who have helped and supported me for years behind the scenes are in the heart and the inner circle of Advance UK. I wholeheartedly trust them. I don't trust many people, I trust them. So I'll ask you now, okay? Please sign up for Advance UK. You can do so at the link I'm putting here. We all need, as a movement, I've been saying it for years, we need a political home, a political voice for our movement. Of course, in the last election, we end up with Labour and a cabinet full of clowns. Everyone knows they're not for the working people. They're lining their own pockets and destroying our country faster than Karl Marx could have ever imagined. People have had enough. Look at what's happening now. Look at the revolution that's brewing across Britain. Even look at Raise the Flags campaign. Labour are finished. Keir Starmer is finished. They know it. They've lost a big chunk of the Muslim vote in the last election because they weren't marching often enough for Hamas. And they'll lose many more as people join Hezbollah, Corbyn's new Islamophilia party. And that's why the Labour Party wants 16-year-olds to be able to vote. It's going to backfire on them. The youth always rebel. Young people are smarter than Labour think. And as for reform, I've got to go there. Well, they were the only option for the last election. But they aren't who people think they are. Reform tells us Britain can take more immigrants. Net zero is their immigration policy. Net zero was their immigration policy, okay? That meant last year 500,000 British people left. They could, and their policy was to take 500,000 immigrants in. From where? Afghanistan, Somalia, Iraq, Iran, who knows where? They tell us we can't deport people entering the country illegally.
We're talking about hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants are in Britain at the moment. Do you support deporting all of those people?
It's impossible to do. Literally impossible to do. For us, at the moment, it's a political impossibility.
But is it your ambition?
No. So it's pointless even going there.
Or did he change his position on that? Flip-flop Farage keeps changing his position. It's hard to keep up. They tell us we can't alienate Muslims because of the growing Muslim demographic. By 2050, they'll be superior to us. That's not objective, Nigel. Just stand up and be proud of Britain and stand up for British values. That's what we need to do.
We have a Muslim population in Britain growing by about 75% every 10 years. Right? That's just where we are. Mm-hmm. If we politically alienate the whole of Islam, we will lose.
We need to prevent the Islamic demographic getting to that point. They also say, Nigel's words, there'll be more left-wing than the Tories by the next general election. They're okay with trans women, men, in women's prisons. And they're okay with digital ID. And that really is the end of our freedom.
What do you feel about ID cards, digital ID cards? Is that something that Reform UK would support?
Well, look, I personally don't have a problem with an ID card. You know, I don't see what the issue is. We can all be tracked now if somebody wants to track us.
And we're all discarded as that lot. That's what annoys me. Our entire movement that lot. We don't want anything to do with that lot.
Tommy Robinson, people have been protesting in his name. What do you make of Tommy Robinson? Is he a good guy in your eyes?
No. All of that lot, we have nothing to do with them.
Even the protesters who have got banners up saying two-tier Keir, you agree with them on the policing and justice?
We agree with ourselves. I'm not aligning ourselves with Tommy Robinson's lot in any shape or form.
And we've all watched with interest as Zia Youssef comes and goes at Reform. On some days he appears to be running the whole show. And then he's busy lighting fires that no one else seems to know what to do about. The whole thing is a mess. But finally now, and it's needed because otherwise Reform won't budge on their policies, there is now an alternative to all other parties. That is Advance UK, led by Ben Habib. It's the only party that stands unconditionally for free speech. It's the only party that is proud of our Christian traditions, culture and values. It stands for the British people. Strong borders, no two-tier justice. And if we want better government, we're going to have to vote for it. There were nearly 20 million people in the last general election who could have voted but didn't vote. That's twice as many people as voted for Labour, didn't vote. So that's what we need to, as a cultural movement and as a political movement, reach out to the non-voters, the working class, the forgotten, the neglected people. So 2 things from me. If you're not registered to vote, please get registered. There's a link below to the government website. It's pretty simple. And please, once again, join Advance UK and join Ben Habib. It's just a tenner. It's the only political option, the only hope. We need to galvanise, we need to electrify. We've got 3 years to the next election. We need to electrify the working class, electrify the British forgotten people, the neglected people. Let's give them a home. They have a political home. They have a home in the United Kingdom, and now they have a political home with Advance UK. Make sure you join.
Yeah, bloody here. Here. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, well said. Yeah. So there you go. It's fantastic news that Tommy's supporting Advance UK, and it's great news that Ben Habib's leading it. So we do need to get behind them all the way. Now, I do like this one. Everyone's calling Keir Starmer a clown, and Trond Colstow points out that Starmer is not a clown. I mean, that's offensive statement against honest working clowns. There you go.
Wow.
We've got some... just have a look at this one. Universal suffrage must end now. It has failed. Capadaseo. Yeah. Universal suffrage... It was great when the people that voted were British and totally believed in Britain, and the politicians they were voting for were generally British and were totally behind the success of Britain. We now have a case where a growing number of voters detest Britain, and a growing number of the MPs they vote for detest Britain and its people. And it's beginning to show quite markedly. So, yeah, we do have a problem there. As John Davis points out, English law overrules all international idiocy. Yes, it actually does, but only if the UK government changes English or UK law. If they change internal UK law, then even if it's at odds with international law, it doesn't matter. We have to obey national law. That's what we do. That's why every time they form a treaty... So they form a treaty with someone, they'll make an act of parliament, if required, to bring in all the rules that treaty makes in order to make it work in the UK. Do you remember the EU Act 1972? That brought the whole lot into law from the EU. And that's the sort of thing they do. So, and that's why people think that, or thought that the EU didn't make law. Or international people don't make law, because there's always an act of parliament. Oh, look, the MPs made that, so it's British law made. No, a lot of these things are made abroad, and the MPs are presented by the civil service, the UK law equivalent of what they signed into international law, and they sign up to it because they can't be bothered to think about the repercussions. Yeah. Yam's physical catalogue of media. Thank you. Farage and Reform are left. It's all talk to get votes. They're manipulative. Also, they hate us. That lot. Knuckle draggers, working class, right wing. Yes, they do seem to be after the general sort of Lib Dem voter, don't they? People that sit in the middle, don't want to come to any firm decision either way or the other, unless it's virtue signalling and they can have a bit of champagne socialism on the side. And that they made it quite clear they were going after those type of people. In fact, they did attract a few Lib Dem councillors to go across to them, didn't they? Doesn't that send alarm bells out? Don't know.
Sorry, Jeff, you mentioned Tony Blair just now, and it reminded me of something I read earlier. And that I'll give you the Telegraph version. I'm not going to go through the Guardian today. I'm too angry with them, all the lefties. Blair meets Trump to discuss plan for Gaza.
Yes.
Former Prime Minister attended Middle Eastern talks at the White House on Wednesday. Sir Tony Blair briefed Donald Trump on a plan to rebuild Gaza in a meeting at the White House, according to a senior official. This isn't good, Jeff. I don't want that man here anything to do with politics and anything to do with... I mean, why is Trump letting him in? I mean, then again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, or maybe not. Actually, maybe this is a valid point, that by allowing Tony Blair into the room to listen to what he's got to say, all of a sudden Trump's going to get a better idea of what these evil globalists want. I mean... He's gonna have a much better idea of it. He'll know his enemy a little better, probably, if he can see what their end game sort of ideal is. But no, I thought, bloody hell, Blair and Trump. That's not like what? What? Shut up, Richard.
As British Bulldog Record says, Tommy the Great, super excited for the Uniting the Kingdom rally on the September 13th. Yeah, looking forward, that big style. So it's going to be a fantastic event. So, yeah. Yeah, I got the message, Richard. Anyway, let me just see what else is going on. Comments. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now, well, I mean, they are quite popular. They are quite popular. In numerous times in history, pet pigs were quite popular, and I quite like the idea of a pet pig. I mean, you know, just as long as you leave it out in the garden, you don't bring it in the house too often. I mean, the stench could be a little overriding, but a pet pig. I mean, you know, one day your little pet pig, you could say, "Oh, little pet pig, I'm feeling a bit peckish today, little pet pig. I'm afraid today, little pet pig, is the last day of your life. Goodbye." And you know, that's me. You know, that's me. I'm just not a very nice person. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Now is a good comment here. For those who doubt Ben, go and listen to him. Don't dismiss your final chance to save our country, children, and our rights. Now that is very important. They do. Advance UK has a Twitter profile, obviously, and sometimes they hold Twitter Spaces, which is audio podcasts of the meetings they have and when they have debates and stuff like that. And they have question and answer sessions, and people come along and ask questions. And do you know something? They answer them. Unlike that complete waste of space that we have called Prime Minister's Question Time, Ben Habib and his team answer questions forthrightly the best way they can. And if you go along and listen, you won't get any BS. You know, it's great. Fantastic. So give it a listen.
I just love to see Ben Habib at the dispatch box. I really would. I would just love to see it. Can you imagine that? Oh,
definitely.
I'd love to see. I got to say, I'd love to see him as leader of the opposition, giving Keir Starmer a completely hard time. You can imagine it. Oh my days, that would be Starmer's worst nightmare. That would be. Yeah, I'd rather Ben Habib obviously be Prime Minister, but to see him in opposition would still be. It would be. You'd pay good money for that. You would. I would anyway.
Someone's saying that Ben Habib can't stand as PM under English law. I'm not sure about that. I don't think there's any restriction.
No,
unlike
I don't believe there is.
America. Unless I've missed some overarching thing here. Yeah.
Well,
thanks very much for this,
Kemi Badenoch's the
elbow
same.
touch. Yeah, but there you go. You see, it's
Thank you, elbow touch. Yeah, Kemi Badenoch wasn't she? She wasn't born in Britain, I don't believe. So I'm not sure.
I can't remember. See, that's half the
I'll double check that, but
I don't check up on these things. I don't hold it against people. What I hold against people is when they come in trying to change the country against being British. There are some people who come into the country and they're fully 100% behind being British and making this country great again and all the rest of it. And those are the people that we should be celebrating, not the people that come here for a freebie, that's for sure.
Actually, I was wrong. Kemi Badenoch was born in Britain, yes.
Right, there you go.
I don't see there being any issue, though. You know, who would you rather have? Ben Habib, who wasn't born in Britain, or Keir Starmer, who was born in Britain?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'd rather have Donald Trump. He wasn't born in Britain. I'd rather have him as Prime Minister. I'd rather we became the next state of America the way things are going, because things are so bad here in the United Kingdom. I do think there's a bit of a break being put on now because Britain is a tinderbox. If Starmer was... The boiling of the frog has slowed down again, I'd say, Jeff. Although you wouldn't believe it when the governments, the Home Offices, lawyers, solicitors, with what they're saying. I mean, you know, as I said, right, I'm just reading this headline again, which is what we started this with. Rights of asylum seekers trump the people of Epping. Home Office argues. I'm thinking, right. Okay. Well, we knew that for F's sake. Look, for goodness sake. Why do you think they've been put up in hotels? We've got servicemen on the streets, ex-servicemen on the streets. But now the government is saying it quite openly to us.
Yeah, yes, they are, and that's the real issue here. If they can just say that in court, they're arguing a government position about the levels of human rights and where we sit compared to others. And surely in your own country, you must have more rights in your own country than those that come here until they have proven themselves properly, not just by ticking a box, and prove themselves properly and become full British citizens. Surely that's how it should work. But at the moment, what we've got is this, as I've said before, this internationalist agenda that everybody on the planet, as soon as they walk into a country, has the exact same rights as everybody else in that country. They're trying to tear down everything, everybody, all barriers, all borders that makes communities a community. And they're doing that in Epping. They're tearing that community down. Do you understand that? They're tearing that community. That's the first community they're going to tear down, and they're going to dole out a lesson. That's what the government wants to do, dole out a lesson to the people of Epping. And that ain't right. Now, Yam's Physical Catalogue of Media, thank you very much. It says, if Advance win and Ben as PM, I will honestly cry. Cry with pleasure, I'm hoping. Yes, and that's what I'm taking that as, Yes, so... we really are at the, I don't know, what's the word? We're at the last chance saloon, aren't we? Or are we walking out of the door and there's nowhere else to go? I mean, what are the British people? If the British people don't have a nation where they have special rights because they are British within Britain or within the UK, where do they go? Because wherever they go, there'll be lesser people, won't they? And that
I don't think it's
really worry us all.
This is not where they go. This is what's going to happen next. That's the worrying bit. That's the worrying bit. What happens next? What will be the reaction of the British people? That's what I fear, and I can see it coming. It's talked about all the time. Even Farage spoke about it, the potential of civil unrest, if something doesn't change, and how close we are to it. Nobody's. We always have to put the caveat: nobody's pushing for civil unrest. We don't want civil unrest. We want, because we know what that might entail, and none of us have the stomach for that. Believe me, you might think you've got the stomach for what comes next. Believe me, you haven't, because no sane man would.
No, terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Someone said, don't blame the Jews and you will have our blessings. You know, everybody blames the Jews, don't they, for everything, which is stupid, but there you go. Yes. Here's a good one from Mel 3L. Northern Ireland, last place standing. All English should come here, more than welcome. Yeah, I know a Northern Ireland resident, Richard Inman. He's done some stuff around for over the years for the cause.
Absolutely.
And,
good old Richard.
Yeah, and he lives in Northern Ireland and he's pushing the cause there, which is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's relentless in what he does. He works tirelessly towards uniting the kingdom. Great man. Yeah.
Yeah, this is John C says, if you come to our country legally, you don't get to apply for asylum. Go home. You came to our country legally. You respect our laws and values and rights. You know, it's not rocket science. Yeah, but at the moment, that's not what our government seems to be telling us, is it? It seems to be telling us that we have inferior rights and that when people come here, they somehow have superior rights to do, basically, I think, what they want. And there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. I just don't see where... I can see nothing good coming out if that High Court decision goes against Epping, against the Epping Council. I just don't see that anything good will come out of it at all. There you go. That's my view.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to say anything else about this, Richard.
Basically, all I can say is there's just much more at stake here than just some hotel in Essex being filled with asylum seekers. What we are seeing is basically a legal hierarchy developing, potentially. And if you're British, you'll be at the bottom of that hierarchy. Asylum rights, when you think about it, now are effectively becoming untouchable. And at the same time, British citizens' rights are becoming more negotiable. And that's the sick thing about this. It's a direct sort of two-finger up your salute to the British people. And to those who protest, you know, to parents who are worried about their children's safety and to councils trying to defend their communities. This is an authoritarian power grab, I would say, more than anything. As well, but that's something we haven't really factored into this, is that this is trying to pull power, more centralize it yet again. This is not, this is the complete opposite of any kind of libertarian notion, which incidentally, a former Labour Party leader, Michael Foot, described himself as a libertarian socialist. And I have a bit of respect for him in that matter. Yeah, where the state is much, much smaller. And everything is a lot more accountable. I've always believed in pitchfork rule. That's it. You know, your democracy should, you know, in terms of not encouraging violence, but your democracy should be one pitchfork length away. It's an old term, so don't say I'm trying to get people out on the streets with pitchforks, because I most certainly am not. I mean, where'd you buy a bloody pitchfork from these days anyway? I can't find pitchforks. They're not exactly useful items, really, anymore. I'm sorry if somebody's watching this owns a pitchfork company, but I find it very difficult to justify owning a pitchfork these days. You know, I can think a spade, yes, and a fork. Pitchfork, no. Don't have enough hay in my garden, I'm afraid. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Andy's 9506 is saying, who is paying to run this stream? Hands up, Richard.
Good question.
We are.
Yes. Yes, we are.
All on our little link, yes.
Yeah, and those people who
contribute.
contribute to this channel, the people who become members, the people who have support, who's helped support with Patreon and PayPal and the Super Chat. All of you guys help pay for this channel, and we are incredibly grateful for it, because we try to keep this thing going as much as we can. It's not easy, is it, Jeff? But there we go. Not going to moan.
No.
We made our choice. We decided to do this for our country, and that's it. There we go.
Yeah, this sums it up. Raven3212 says, the government has nailed their true colours to the mast. We see them. You will see us. So, yeah. It's absolutely, they have nailed it. They've just told us what they think. They've just told us what they think. And they are not looking to derogate. They're not saying to the courts, oh, we're derogating out of this, or we're going to change that. No, they've just said, this is the law, you will obey, and we're just going to keep the floodgates open, basically. So no, don't believe a single thing they say.
Lord Viking says, do you guys pay for Steam? The age of Steam is over. No, the stream for the stream. I mean, the actual software we use to this costs money. The equipment that we use costs money. We are constantly, we don't go down that route. Really don't.
Don't go down that route. No.
No. So yeah, it does come at a cost.
Yes, does definitely. Yeah, someone says take back England. Sorry, I put the wrong one up there. Trying to find it. I'm surprised Jeff hasn't got a Union Jack backdrop. I've actually got one somewhere, but I'll just tell you a little story. When I first started this, I did start with the red curtain. And after a while, I got bored with it, so I changed it to purple. And the backlash I got was immense. How dare I? It's almost like the curtain wasn't mine. Mustn't change it. It has to stay, you know. So, I've been too frightened to change it ever since. But
I go for green because it's complementary to red, and that's the simple fact of the matter. And it's the aesthetic that we have used continuously. Has been red and green. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we like that. We like to be coordinated. That's why we both have,
Yes, exactly. There's one here, actually, a super chat. Oh, so you go on, Jeff, go on.
Well, is that the one you were pointing at? Yeah. John Davis says, right, sorry, I'll go back to that one in a second. The English Constitution is the solution, not UK English Magna Carta overrules all other law statutes in perpetuity. Yeah, technically, yes, the Magna Carta does overrule everything. Even though what they did was they took the Magna Carta, made it into a statute, but that doesn't change anything because the Magna Carta is still there unchanged. What they did was they put it in a statute and then took things out of it to make it look like they'd changed the Magna Carta, but they hadn't. And you can see that it's quite clear, and it goes back. And the whole of UK law is really built on English law and the rights of the English person to be free, basically. And it's written right deep into our laws, and they keep trying to override it. But it is very difficult because everybody goes by statute law these days instead of the basic law. But it's arguably we could go back and reinstate the true freedoms that the English enjoyed. And if everybody else wanted to enjoy those freedoms as well, then join in with us, But it's so complicated nowadays that, it's a huge, long argument to be had there.
Yes.
And there is an English Constitution Party, I think. What's his name? David Moore, was it? I can't remember now. And
thank you, John Davis.
And this one is the one that Richard was on about.
Yes.
Razors cost money too. Yes.
Yes.
The amount of razors, so you have to pay for those as well. Yeah.
It's got to be done.
He looks like,
Captain Birdseye.
Yeah, and thank you, Jenny Selly. God bless you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
God bless you too. Thank you.
And did I win this? I think I might have missed this one. Slim Yin. Yeah, thanks very much as well.
Thank you, Slim.
So, yeah. Yes. So,
Come on, Jeff. He's
no, I'm just
spotted
reading this
something.
comment. Last but not least, says the one thing these globalists forget is what happens if it does get down to a single ruler running the world, which it seems to me is what they want, a single ruler with a single cadre of experts, experts on weather, telling us when we can go out and what we can burn and what we can do, experts on food, telling us that eating steak and pork and lamb is wrong. It must all be generated in a nice clean factory from chemicals. Those are the people they want running the world. Yes, but what happens when a Pol Pot sits on that throne, which the Bible says will happen? I think we've already got a lot of Pol Pots on that throne. The way they're trying to control our healthcare and everything else. It's all happening, isn't it? It's all happening. Ah, sorry, it was Graham Moore. Yes, absolutely, Graham Moore. Sorry, Graham. Yes.
And there's a comment here as well, and it says, I hope you two are on statins. And I'm about to show you a photograph, actually. This was my blood pressure when I was in hospital last. Oh, hang on, it's the other way around. I'll just read it out. It's 201/130. And, yes, not good, eh? Not good. 201/130. So, been doing the lion diet, and now my blood pressure is 115/72. Now, some of you will know how miraculous that is. 201/130 down to 115/72. That gives you an idea of what the lion diet does. It's more extreme than the carnivore. It's just literally red meat, salt water. That's it. And and my resting heart rate now is between 58 and 69 beats per minute usually. So some of the comments you should be brown bread. Yeah, I should have been dead. I've been trying to explain to Jeff how high my blood pressure was. You don't last very long with blood pressure like I had.
No.
But if you really don't, okay? But now, I mean, it's just amazing. And my way, I shouldn't be doing that. Something extraordinary is happening to me on the lion diet. I'm not going to go fully into it, but something very, very, very odd is happening. Don't forget your veg. No, I'm trying very much to forget veg because that's when I get ill. Very much so. I bought into that gluten-free vegan thing. Well, gluten-free definitely, but vegan thing for a very, very long time, and it nearly killed me. It made me fat, sick, and nearly dead, as they say. And now everything's changed. Everything's changed. It's just crazy how it works. There we go.
Yes, I went to the doctors. Oh, dear me, must be 15 years ago, something like that. And he looked at me and he said, well, we've got to think about putting you on statins. You've got to that age. And I looked at him and I thought, no, not for me. Thank you very much. I said, I feel fine. I'll last a bit longer. Thank you. Without statins. So I didn't even go down that route. And it's, I don't know. Anyway, that's getting off topic.
Yeah, well, as well, yes, but there's one question here. So I just lost it then. It was basically saying just diet, no exercise. That's correct. Yes, I do. I try and do 8,000 steps as often as I can as well. I'm trying to get well again, effectively. Yeah. So it's very, but as I said, look, somebody saying, I try not to go to the doctors. Yeah, I try not to. I won't take statins. Statins killed a very close friend of mine. That was pretty awful. I knew something was wrong. I believe our diet is killing us. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, going on about this. This is something really important and something we need to speak a little bit more about Because if you're eating a standard Western diet, what we are called a healthy diet, your meat and your 2 veg, you think that's all safe. No, it's not. Get rid of the 2 veg. See what happens.
Yeah.
I followed, and look, I'm not a doctor, by the way. I have to add this. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just giving you anecdotal advice from what I have experienced and many people I know who have done what I'm doing. I have just lost 2 stone in 23 days as well. And yeah, that's with minimal exercise. And people say, oh, that's too bad. Just look, my blood pressure tells you everything you need to know. My cardiovascular system is completely rebounding, as would yours. Probably.
Thank you very much, Don Davies, for confirming it is Heritage Party, Graham Moore and others. So, yep. Well, Richard, I think we've got to the end of that one, to be honest. I just want to thank everybody for coming along and taking a view of what we're saying. We had to rush into this one because the news was just coming out, and it made us so angry that a government would actually argue that its citizens have fewer rights than everyone else does. So, yeah.
Yes. Oh, sorry, Jeff, before you go, there's another super chat just come in. Yeah.
Yeah, official Mapo VR. It's all the stress of immigration that's giving us all higher blood pressure. Yeah, I think it's more than that. I think it's the stress of this entire government from what Keir Starmer's doing, Yvette Cooper, Rachel Reeves and David Lammy. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They just are, aren't they? They just are. It's awful what they're doing to this country. Destroying it.
Yeah, blood pressure. My blood pressure was getting rather high when I was on the standard diet or eating veg. So Rosemary just asked, what's wrong with eating veg? It's one of those things that it sounds counterintuitive, I know. But what if those veg that we are told were so good for us aren't? I mean, basically, there's been an evolutionary battle going on for a very, well, not that I particularly believe in evolution, but there we go. But between plants and animals, there's been a battle going on for a very long time. We are animals like to eat plants, and we are the fertilizer for the plants. Don't forget that. That's the way it works. Animals are fertilizer walking around for the plants. And this has been going on for a very long time. It's worth looking into, Rosemary. I do believe, I might be wrong here, that you're a vegan, and I think you've mentioned that before. And I was vegan myself, and I know we have a bit of fun talking about vegans, Jeff and I, but, it's all a bit, tongue-in-cheek, you know that.
Got to go with this one. Grenville Kembers says, wouldn't worry too much. We'll all be lean, as we won't be able to afford food soon. There you go. That's probably where we're going.
No, we'll be given food, Jeff. We'll be given food.
Here is your daily allowance. Yes, daily allowance.
Yes. Carbs are killing us. End of.
Anyway, all I'll say is on that note, please like, subscribe and comment below, and please become a member of the channel. That'd be fantastic. And I've left some links in the descriptions box below about all of that. So, thank you very much for watching.
Hang on.
What?
Before we go, Rosemary just said she's not vegan. Rosemary, I'm sorry. I think I got it wrong there. It must be somebody else I was thinking of. So sorry. I do look. I'd like to be accurate. I like to be accurate. There's a lot of people coming on here regularly, and we've built up a community. I have to reply. God bless you, Rosemary, and all of you. And as Jeff says, Jeff was just saying, thank you all so much for watching. We do enjoy doing these, Jeff. It's a ball for us. But at the same time, it allows us to vent. It allows probably you lot to vent and let some steam off. And it allows us to have discussions and conversations, because we don't get the chance to go to the pub anymore. Half of us can't afford to go to the pub anymore. And if we do, we have to be careful what we say, because there's new laws in now that you can get arrested, apparently, for saying something in front of somebody working in the pub that they get offended by or something. I can't remember what it was exactly. I thought, oh, okay. So we just got it. This is a way of coming together, people. And we love it. And we love you all, okay? So God bless you all. And bye from me anyway. Off you go, Jeff. Let's go. Yeah. Go on. You want to eat. Come on, let's go.
So it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him. Goodbye.
Goodbye.